Hi, my name is Arthur. Like, share, subscribe.
Today I'm going to talk about parenting a kid as an INTJ. We're probably one of the least likely types to have a kid, if not the least likely type.
But when INTJs do have kids, they typically want their children to grow up to be self-sufficient and independent as possible. INTJs aren't known to be the most affectionate types, so that aspect can be hard as an INTJ parent. For my son's 6th birthday, I decided to take him on a camping trip to the White Mountains in northern Arizona. My stepdad and his new wife, ESFP and ESFJ, respectively, boondock in their motorhome part-time during the summer to escape the desert heat. So I thought this would be a good time to have a poor man's vacation and allow my son to learn a thing or two about independence and self-reliance.
Pretty sure my son is going to be an ESFP. I think his ego's bleeding through pretty well at this age, and for the last few ages it's been fairly obvious. Constantly in the moment. Can be very sensitive, especially with how rough we can be as INTJ.
My son, Arthur, is always in the present moment. Arthur's ego really started showing about the age of 4. While he's still young and typology on young kids is still up in the air, he seems he'll definitely be an SE Dom. I'm not ruling out ESTP, but he definitely uses a lot of FI, it seems, which I'll demonstrate a little bit in this video. FI users usually have strong likes and dislikes, and as you can see here, Arthur has plenty of likes and dislikes on this page in his yearbook in school.
You having fun?
I like doing this.
Though we have great moments together, I talk about the duality of the INTJ and ESFP relationship quite a bit.
This tastes good. Should we do some cherries now?
INTJs and ESFPs use the same functions, but in an opposite manner. Socionics, which is the Russian slant on Jung's typology, says that this is the ideal relationship. However, Arthur's mom is an ESFP as well, and we had a very rocky relationship. I mentioned that my stepdad is an ESFP, and my mom might have been as well. So this relationship isn't for the faint of heart. And if you want to check out this video I did with my son's mom, go ahead and watch it up here.
Getting tired? What's wrong?
I'm sad that I didn't go to the berry.
The first half of my life, ESFPs traumatized me, and the second half, I think they're enlightening me. Well, we kind of engage in the world in a very opposite way, and it can be very, very frustrating. I overthink things, and my son's mom don't think things through very much at all. She's getting a little bit better on her end, and I'm getting a little bit better being more spontaneous and just going with the flow, which is, I think, we all need to do.
It's probably a no-brainer that raising a kid as an INTJ can be quite a challenge, especially if they are duality types such as me and my son appear to be. Now that he's getting older, he is able to be a little bit more independent. The first 4 years of life was a bit of a struggle. C.S. Joseph has a theory on child development, or according to him, his mentor does at least. When children are young, they live in the dual side of their minds, or their subconscious. ESFPs and INTJs are mirror opposites of one another. Until about the age of 4, Arthur was fiercely independent, well, as much as a toddler could be at least. Now that he's getting into his ego, he will gladly allow you to wait on him hand and foot. You see, INTJs are probably the most independent type of them all, while ESFPs are one of the most interdependent types. I believe ESFPs can develop something called dependent personality disorder, and of course that is through trauma.
Nothing.
But yeah, I just wanted to touch in how it's been as a struggle raising a kid. Well, I don't want my son to ever want to watch this and think that he's an accident, because he's the best thing that ever happened to me. He probably honestly saved my life. I probably would have eventually taken my own life without him, to be honest, at some point.
On this channel, I am pretty open to the trauma I have experienced and how it's affected me. I do my very best not to take my past out on my son. He has been having some behavioral issues at school, and I'm not sure where it came from. He doesn't have any history of trauma that I'm aware of. Another reason I believe Arthur is an ESFP is any demon. Any demon, in my opinion, is probably the worst of the demon functions. ESFPs and ESTPs can easily be the most selfish of all the types. With their NI inferior, they are insecure with what they want and their own vision and their goals. But with any demon, it doesn't really matter to them what other people want. It can be actually stupid. My son just doesn't want to do his schoolwork. And really, I can't blame him. SE DOMs are often associated with having ADHD, but most of the time, I really don't think it's the case. SE heroes aren't really meant to sit in a classroom all day. They are made to experience the present moment and here and now. Just because STJs can sit in a class for a long time and focus on one thing, they think everybody else should be able to as well. Linda Behrens talks about this phenomenon and calls it "be like me." We all expect others to be like us and are very surprised when they're not. Then, of course, we say they are wrong, bad, or even weird and crazy. Be like me leads us heavily into the blame game, where anyone who is not like us is a blame for what goes wrong. So just because SJs see other people that aren't like them, we are often just diagnosed as crazy and we're medicated. And I really don't want my son to be another casualty of this ignorance.
If he's an ESFP or even an ESTP, he's probably going to be a challenge growing up into a young adulthood just because he's going to have what his mom has and just doesn't think things through. Very impulsive. We'll get in a lot of trouble probably. But hey, I guess that's just what I kind of signed up for. I mean, I'm definitely not perfect. I'm getting a lot better, a lot more patient. I think if you can teach your kid to fish, you can teach your kid to do anything. Oh my God, it's such a pain in the ass getting that line tangled up and stuff. But yeah, I was very hesitant on showing his face publicly, but I think I'm going to. Any nemesis, any opposing personality, we have a habit of seeing the dark side of life, seeing all the negative things that can happen. I mean, I'll lay and wake for hours, not so much anymore, just picturing all the bad things that can happen to them. I worked 5 years in corrections in a prison system. I met a bunch of people that did horrible things to kids. Right now, I work in a psychiatric hospital. I see all the traumatized kids there, the things that happen to them, and what they have to deal with the rest of their lives now, and what we're going to have to deal with when they're adults, doing crime and drugs and promiscuity and having a bunch of kids of their own. So, it's a very societal thing that we all have to pay. It's not very one-dimensional. Here you go. Let's look at your fish.
No, he doesn't like it.
There you go. You can kiss?
No.
He's hungry.
No.
All right. Well, put him back in his gallon.
No.
Okay, maybe I do traumatize him a little bit. I don't want it to seem like my son is an absolute burden. ESFPs bring a lot of joy to most people. While as an INTJ, I can get enough of them pretty quickly. ESFPs are known as the entertainers. While he isn't exactly a showman quite yet, he loves to make people laugh, which is both a strength and yet a weakness at the same time, seeing that he likes to get attention, and sometimes that attention gets him into trouble. When ESFPs aren't being too busy being full of themselves, they can shine a light on this dark, scary world and make life more bearable and enjoyable. While ESFPs can be a challenge to raise and need constant encouragement, reminders, and work, it is my goal to make my son independent, happy, and a healthy adult.
Just trying to teach him how to fish. He caught on to casting a reel quite quick. I haven't given him a hook quite yet. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, but, with his SE hero, I think it took me a long, long time to learn how to cast a reel. And it took him probably like 5 minutes, and he's barely turned 6 today. So that's very cool.
Do you have kids as an INTJ? Let me know down in the comments below. Also give this video a quick like.
Wave and say bye.